guys, so welcome to Twinkl Careers Week. My name's Anna and I'm an artist and an illustrator. They're basically the same thing as well as being different, which is quite confusing. So my interpretation is that all illustrators are artists, but not all artists are illustrators. So yeah, it's a bit complicated to get your head around to begin with. So let me tell you what I think those two things are and how they work for me for my job and what I do. So I call myself both an artist and an illustrator. So most of the time, I would say I'm an illustrator because I draw. I draw illustrations, usually cute, quirky little animals, like cartoony, whimsical, like animals or flowers or people. Less people. I don't like drawing people quite so much. People are a little bit harder to draw and a little bit harder to please everybody because people look very different. There are lots of different skin tones, shapes, hairstyles, hair colours, accessories, you name it. Everybody is different, and so illustrating people is quite difficult to try and keep everybody happy. So I prefer to illustrate animals and flowers and objects, I don't know, like a cup of tea or a book or something like that. And so that's what I class as illustration. Like I draw things, and that I am also an artist because I paint things. So a little bit of an overlap. So illustrators are also artists. Artists aren't always illustrators. And I talk a lot. So it's trying to, for me, that's a problem. I'm trying to keep a video short for you guys. So what I do, I don't have a very typical day. In fact, I very rarely work a whole day, if I'm honest. So I own and run my own company. So my real name is Anna Brim, but the company is called Mrs. Brimbles, which it came about as a nickname when I married my husband, and it kind of stuck. And I sell things directly to customers. So I'm not in any shops. You won't find me anywhere else. I sell directly to the people who use my products. So the products that I do, basically what I do is I am the artist. I do all the drawing, I do all the illustration. So that's right up from coming up with the idea, which sometimes comes to me really easily, and other times it takes a long time to kind of delve around, get out and about, look for inspiration, and think about what I'm going to do. So I do that. I gather the inspiration. I then decide on a theme. Each month I design a totally new collection. So I think of the theme, think of the collection, I do all the drawings, and I always start by doing all the drawings in pencil, and I do that. I'm really old school. I'd love to have an iPad. I'm not quite there yet, but one day I might switch to an iPad, but I do everything by pencil in a sketchbook. Everything starts off in my sketchbook. Then I ink it up. I go over the sketches and refine them with an ink pen, and then once I do that, I rub out all my lines, and then I photograph all my artwork, and then it goes onto the computer, onto the Mac, and that's when the real magic, I guess, happens. That's when it really comes to life. I edit the images and colour them in, and then I turn them into products. And the products that I sell are aimed at people who are into crafts. So people use my products in their scrapbooks, people that are into scrapbooking, people that are into journal keeping and memory keeping, art journaling. People that are into planners and want to make their planners look nice and pretty, people who make greetings cards, or basically any sort of paper crafts. So I design stickers, lots of stickers and scrapbook paper, and journal cards and die cuts. In the past I've done stamps and washi tape and sticky notes, all of that kind of stuff. So I do all the design stuff, all the ideas, all the design stuff, all of that. And then once I've designed it, I then give it over to my husband, and he is the person that does all the makes the products. He is the one that does all the printing, all the cutting, all the packing up of orders, and all the sending out to the post office. He does everything else. So yeah, so on top of all the artwork and all the designing, I also do all the admin. Well, I say all the admin, most of the admin, like replying to emails. John also does reply to some of the emails and things, and helps me out. But I do the admin. He does the accounts. John does the accounts. I don't do that. I'm not very good with money. He does the accounts. And then, and I also do all the social media. And between us, we order like the supplies that we need. I'll order some supplies. John will order other supplies. Like he'll be ordering all the ink. He'll be ordering all the cards, like the blank card stock, all of that kind of stuff. So we kind of split the stuff between us. But between us, yeah, we run the business. I am like the face of the business, if it were, and it's my art that we sell, which is kind of like daunting as well as exciting, as well. And I guess over time I've kind of developed a style, and like people recognize, like, oh, that's Anna's artwork, that's what she does. It kind of took me a little while to do that, I guess. I've been doing this for quite a while, so alongside that, I also do other things. So that's like the illustration side of what I do. The artist side of what I do, like the painting stuff. I have a YouTube account, Mrs. Brimbles, and on there I do lots of different videos. I sort of talk about scrapbooking and journal keeping and organisation, like planner stuff, but I also do art tutorials on there. Now the YouTube is more like pocket money. I don't really earn a living from YouTube. My living all comes from making and selling the craft products. So YouTube is more like a little pocket money hobby business, but it does so like money that I earn like directly from YouTube isn't a great deal, but it is a marketing tool. It does tell people about me and about my business, and people then sort of come over to the shop, to my Etsy shop, or to my own website and take a look at my products and see what I'm about. So I enjoy making YouTube videos. They're good fun, but it is also a marketing tool as well. So, and I do like art tutorials and things over there. And I also have a Patreon account, and Patreon is a little bit like YouTube, but people pay to watch your videos. So on Patreon, I make art videos. I do an art tutorial every month, and people pay to get that art tutorial. It's an art class, virtual. So like, so you'll be watching a video, you're watching this video now, I will do a video, usually like my camera will be up high and it will be showing down onto the onto my paper, and I'll be showing you how I draw, the illustrations that I draw and how I paint them and that kind of thing. So that is basically my job. I don't really have a typical day. I'm also a full-time mum and a full-time home educating mum, which is why I wanted to make this video, to kind of give back to the Twinkl home ed community. So I work 1 day a week on a Friday, or I probably work 2 days a week. If you add up the hours, I probably work 2 days a week over 7 days. So I have one main day of work, and that is on a Friday. And on that day, John doesn't work at all, and he has the kids. He has the kids for the day, and they have a daddy day, and they do whatever they do on daddy day. And on that day, I'm like knuckle down, and I get as much done as I possibly can. All my drawing, all my arting, all my digital stuff, all my videos, all that kind of stuff. I get that all done as much as I possibly can on a Friday, and I tend to have really long days. My youngest daughter is quite young and she gets up ridiculously early, and so I tend to start work quite early on a Friday, and I go all the way through till about 6 or 7. I don't really have a lunch break. John cooks, I eat that and stuff. And then during the week of an evening, not very much time in the evening because I'm quite tired come an evening after we've all been running around together at the park and doing our homemade adventures and forest school and whatever else it is that we've been doing. I'm quite tired of an evening, and I like to take some time for myself as well to read or watch telly. So I don't do that much of an evening, possibly about an hour or so, if that, of an evening. I'll do some admin, like ordering stock, replying to emails, maybe a bit of computer work, computer design work if I can. And it works okay. And John does everything else, as I said, so he does that. So it works pretty okay. So there isn't really a typical day for me. It depends on what I've got going. It depends on whereabouts in the collection I'm at. So some Fridays I'll be drawing, penciling. Other days I'll be doing it on the computer. Other days I'll be doing a video and doing art. But whatever it is, most of the time it involves me talking to myself through a camera. So yeah, no real kind of typical day. I love my job. I really do love my job. I love working for myself because I am the boss. I make all the decisions. I do bounce ideas off of John as well to make sure that I'm not like totally off the wall and crazy, but I like the idea that like I make the decisions and I can decide what to do, and things. I do work for clients, like some clients pay me to do some design work. I work with some really lovely clients, so I'm really thankful that I do work with some amazing clients who are lovely, but I don't really like that as much as I'd working for my own stuff. Because I like doing my own thing. I like letting my own ideas flow and having my own interpretation, and that kind of thing. Whereas when I work to someone else's brief, sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure those colours really go, or that kind of thing. So I do really enjoy working for myself, and I like the flexibility of working for myself. So some weeks I don't even work on a Friday. Like if we want to go out for a day trip or something, then sometimes we'll do that on a Friday and then I'll work on a Saturday instead. So it's a lot of flexibility. I really enjoy that I get to be creative. I get to play with lots of art supplies. I get to use a lot of colour and splash colour around. I get to be messy. I get to be creative. And I get to work in my pyjamas if I want to. And very often I do. I often work better in my pyjamas because they're comfortable. So you'll very often, I'll be at my desk and I'll have my pyjamas on. So it's a really cool job. I love what I do. I'm very grateful to be able to do this. I haven't always done this though. I used to do something completely different. I used to work in HR. I've always been into art though. I've always loved art. I did art at school, but I never really got on very well with my art teacher at school. They always wanted us to do still life, and I wasn't into still life whatsoever. I did not want to draw a bowl of fruit. I did not want to draw a bunch of flowers. I wanted to draw cartoon characters. I wanted to draw all the exciting things that I had in my imagination. I wanted to get them out and onto paper, but I wasn't allowed to do that at school. I had to do what the lesson plan was. I had to do what the teacher said. So I didn't get on very well at art, and my art teachers kind of put me off art for a while, to be honest. And then I found art again later on in life. I started to pick up my art supplies again. I'd got rid of everything because I wasn't doing anything. When I was a kid, I was always drawing, always painting, always arting. And then as an adult, I decided on a whim one day to kind of get a sketchbook and a pencil, and I just started back up again, and I started drawing and arting, and it kind of snowballed from there. So the route that I took into doing what I'm doing now is practice. I practiced. I kept on practicing. I never gave up on my art. I just carried on going. I taught myself. I learnt how my supplies work. I learnt different types of paper and different types of paint and how they work together, and I just kept on practicing. I did actually go back to college when I was about, I don't know, late 20s, 28, 29, something like that. I'm going to be 40 soon, which and then so I would go back sort of in my late 20s. I did a diploma at college. I never got the certificate. I never finished it, if I'm honest, because again, I went back to do that, and they wanted to do still life. By that point, I could understand why they were trying to get us to do still life. I could understand that we were learning about perspective and all these different things. Still not really what I wanted to do. So the route that I took basically was just hard, not even hard work, just enjoying art and experimenting with art, and keep on practicing and practicing and practicing, which is why I wanted to do like Twinkl Careers Week, because I wanted to show that not every job needs a qualification. Not everything you do, you need a piece of paper. I do have a degree. I have a degree in sociology, but I don't use it now. So in some ways, whilst going to university for me was really fun and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I did it, because I wasn't ready to go out into the field of work then. I wanted to like have some more fun and party and have do studies and stuff. And I didn't want to go to work, so I went to uni. So I'm glad I did it, but I didn't need to in order to do what I do now. So I just wanted to say that you don't need to let qualifications hold you back from anything that you want to do. You can probably do pretty much anything as long as you put the effort in. Now, I appreciate that some art avenues may require a qualification from you, so you might need to look at kind of those and like find out. I did also used to work for a computer games development company, and at the time the lead artist there, he wasn't actually bothered about qualifications either. He was more interested in the portfolio, and he wanted to look at people's art, the art that they'd created, and see if they'd got a good fit for what they were looking for, or whether they could perhaps work towards that. His point of view back then was like, what's the point in a qualification, if you can't draw, or you can't do this, that and the other. So they were more into a portfolio, and I think a lot of places are like that. A lot of places are more into a portfolio, your body of work, and what you can do, what you can show, rather than a qualification. So yeah, my advice would be to kind of keep on practicing, don't give up. And I tell my YouTube people this all the time. I may earn my living as an artist. I may sell things to thousands of people across the world, and people may watch my videos and all that kind of thing. But there are many, many, many pieces of artwork that I create that I never put out there in the world. I never do, because I'm not happy with them. And that's okay. There'll be loads of stuff that you create that you don't like, but don't get rid of it. Keep it in your sketchbook. Don't rip it out. Keep it there, because you'll be able to see, and the more you practice, the more you'll be able to see how much you've grown, how much your style has changed, and you can learn from those mistakes. You can look back over it and think, okay, that arm was up here when it should have been down here. I can see where I went wrong there. So yeah, keep everything. You don't have to show anyone if you don't want to. You don't have to put your work out there on social media. I don't. Occasionally I will, just to make this particular point. Occasionally I'll put something out there that I am not happy with, to tell the world that it is okay if you've made crappy art, or art that you're not happy with. That is okay. You just keep on going. Don't get disheartened. Keep on going, 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 keep on going. And that is what I do all the time. Sometimes it takes me hours to do a drawing for one of my collections, because I just can't get it right, and I want to throw my sketchbook across the house. But then other times I'll do something in 5 minutes and I'll think, do you know what? I'm quite happy with that. I like how that turned out. It is just a case of not giving up, just keep on going with it. And most importantly is to enjoy it. Enjoy. Art is a process. Art isn't always about the end destination. Art is about the process as well. So enjoy slapping that paint down and experimenting with it. You don't always need to have an end goal in sight. And it's all very well looking at other people's work. It's great to get inspiration, to get ideas, to admire them, but never compare yourself to other people, because you do not know where they're at in their journey. You do not know what their history is. They may have been at it for 40 years. Not everyone shows their face on social media, so they may have been painting for 40 years, and again, they are only showing you their best work. They're not showing you the stuff that they're not happy with. So never compare yourself to someone else. They're at different stages of their journey, and you are at different stages of your journey. So the only person you should ever compare yourself to is yourself. It's to your old self, the stuff that you used to create. So I hope that's useful for you guys. Ask me any questions that you want to. You can ask them here in the Twinkl Homemade group. You can come over onto my social media if you're allowed to be on social media. You can find me everywhere as Mrs. Brimbles. You can email me. I'm not always massively fast to email, if I'm honest, but I will always reply to an email if you've got any questions whatsoever. Just, I'm really easy to find all over social media. So good luck, guys. Keep on arting, and most importantly, have fun with it all. Bye, guys.